I'm Ryan. I'm the founder of Gentleman Outlaw. Come here today to do our first podcast. Our hope is today that this will be the worst podcast we ever make. We obviously don't have a huge studio. We're starting off fresh. This is something new for us.
I think the cat just ran through the background.
The cat just ran through the background. You might see chickens behind us and dogs, and we're just everyday real people, and we encourage real people to be around. Something we don't have today is real. Everybody is fake and they're Instagrammed up, and so we're starting this podcast. Gentleman Outlaw is a new company. We're hoping to bring quality products to people to help people break away from institutional reliance. We want people to be able to stand on their own, whether you have a farm, small farm, huge farm, or you are in an apartment and you're afraid when the pandemic hit, because when the grocery stores run out, what is my neighbor going to do? How do I feed my family? How do I make sure we still have medicine, and how do we take care of each other? How do we build a community with people who don't like to talk to each other? And so we're hoping throughout this business we're starting and this podcast process, that's something we can work with. And I'm sitting here today with my father, Dave. Why don't you go ahead and tell them who you are?
Yeah, so I have no idea what to say. So yeah, I'm Dave, and I'm his dad, obviously, and we are here at this farm, enjoying a pipe and a cigar. And I'm also an author of a couple of different books, and the founder of Tikva Marketing. Tikva Marketing, mostly for publishing and some books and desktop publishing, websites, things like that. So I've done a lot of that kind of thing. Owned a couple of successful businesses through the years, and so now my wife and I are here with my son and his family and the grandkids, and like he said, we're just here on this podcast to establish some conversation with people who agree and people who don't agree, and we encourage that, because I think people have forgotten how to have conversation. And I think Ryan said it well, that what are we going to do when hard times come and you don't know how to interact with your neighbor, you don't know who to trust, you don't know who to talk to. This is an opportunity to begin to break down those barriers and begin to open some doors.
We don't want to just be another newscaster. We don't want to be somebody who emphasizes certain details to draw certain emotions. The point of this is to bring everybody together, in the fact that you're not alone. We're trying to bring everybody together, with common, whether you're a gentleman, you're an outlaw, you're in between.
It's conversation.
Yeah.
That's lacking in our society today.
Yes.
Is conversation.
Nobody can have a Discord.
Nobody has just open conversation. That's why we hope in the future
we can bring on more people.
To have people here, even with people who we don't agree with,
mm-hmm.
but to be able to have conversation and understand each other. And doesn't mean you can't walk away as friends.
Yep. Yeah, so I don't want to bring another news podcast into the world, where all we talk about is the news and what's happening and the whole world's falling apart and everybody's going to die, because that's not real. That's not what's actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot of bad going on right now that needs to be discussed, that needs to be clarified, and people don't know where to turn, people don't know what to do. And I think we really need to emphasize on the things that have been bad before.
Yeah.
And they're going to get worse, and they're going to get better. The saying, hard times make hard men make easy times make soft men, and soft men make hard times.
I couldn't have pulled that off.
Yeah. And right now, we're at the soft times, soft men.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I grew up in soft times, soft men, and we're coming into the hard times with soft men. We're going to have to start making hard men.
Yep.
And women and all of that, and sue me because I said men. But
we're not going to be politically correct.
no. We plan to be demonetized before we're even on.
That's right. No, I don't. I'm too old to play that game.
Yep.
I don't
So
frankly care.
the whole idea of our whole organization that we're starting here is there's times where gentlemen need to become outlaws. That's what our founders did. They were all gentlemen. A lot of them were wealthy men. A lot of them were farmers. They were statesmen,
lawyers,
yep,
noblemen.
and they saw that times were bad and people were being hurt economically, physically, emotionally, spiritually. They decided it's time to stand up. And even though what we're going to do is going to break the law, we're going to hang together, or we will surely hang alone. Because they knew that they were going to die. Yeah, I don't know where this podcast is going to go in the future, but I think it's important that we just need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
You and I have a lot of conversations together that are really good, and we wish other people would have those conversations. And I think a lot of people are having those conversations, wishing people would have those conversations, and we're all separated because all you get is one narrative. We're talking about the news and how horrible things are, and the left versus right, and we need, there's a lot of differences, but a lot of people have a lot of similarities.
I think to myself as you're saying that if I had recordings of my grandfather and my dad, you might say, having conversations about the things going on in the world in their time, that history is lost to whoever wrote the history books.
Yeah.
But of course they lived it. They were there, and not just the goings on of the times, but the values in their life, the things they valued the most, the morals, the integrity, the business dealings, how they dealt with other people, and telling those stories. And that's lost to memories that will fade quickly and have faded. So I think having an opportunity to record conversations about life, about morals, about raising kids, about whatever the case may be, that those recordings will live on for hopefully generations.
So to circle back to the beginning of what this podcast was supposed to be for, we want to help bring people together in order to make them feel not alone. Maybe bring back some information from old times. Neither of us are scholars. Neither of us are historians. Both of us listen to people smarter than ourselves. And I think that brings some value to people out there who don't have any information.
Yep.
And we want to hear what you want. If you have suggestions on conversations, like I said, we're not going to purposely get political. We're not going to bring in the news all the time, but if something happens in the news, happens with politics, we want you to comment on it and just let us know, hey, talk about this situation, because nobody is, or there's conflicting views on it. We want to know what you think.
Yep.
We want to build trust. We want to be somebody you can look to and know that when we say it, we truly believe it, and it's not just on a whim of what we say. We've done some research on it. If we've gone to people smarter than us to bring the information to you more condensed.
And I would say, even if you don't agree with the opinions that we share with each other, great. I would encourage you, not just, how Facebook and all these things are, where the people just slam each other and throw out insults and say you're an idiot.
Warriors.
I encourage you to engage in conversation with us. Tell us what you think. Tell us why, and give us some feedback, and we can use that. And we're not going to be insulting either. Well, we might be, but we won't use your name if we do. But it's easy to sit here and say, oh, that person's stupid, and honestly, that person probably isn't stupid.
Correct.
But we certainly don't agree. But let's talk about it. Let's engage in conversation. Let's build on that. And there may be times I'm sure there's times, I've had this a lot in my life, where I come along and say, I never saw it that way.
Yep.
I never thought about it from that perspective. I think that's important to do, and I think that's really the reality of this conversation.
And that's what I really hope we can do with this, especially if we bring on a third chair here, somebody to sit down with an opposing view that can have an open discord.
Yep.
We can actually communicate. We can talk. We're not just going to do gotchas. We're not going to try to back somebody into a corner
Right.
and rip them apart and then
Gang
say,
up.
see, we were right.
Uh-huh.
I want to be proven wrong on everything that I say.
Right.
I want to be proven wrong. Because if I'm wrong, I need to be fixed. And when there's two opposing viewpoints, somebody's wrong.
Go back to the founding fathers who pledged their lives and their fortunes and their sacred honor to something they truly believed
They're
in.
willing to die for it.
And there's, would I do that?
Yeah.
Do I believe in this nation or in my freedom or the ideal of liberty in a way where I would be willing to sacrifice everything, including my honor? I don't know.
It's hard to say.
I don't know.
Until it actually happens.
Right.
We want real world. We want real people. We want real conversation. We don't want the same people backing us up with what we're saying only. We want conversation in our chats. We want opposing viewpoints to be able to come here and sit right here. If we decide to set up the table here again, we may be in the barn, we may be in the house, we may be in a truck. And we want to be able to help you prepare for your future and your children's futures. That's why we've also started a company that is starting just now. And we're trying to grow it with things to help you get through any issue.
Hard times.
Hard times. Yep. We want to try to make harder men out of these soft men. We want to try to make easy times soon to come. We want to get to the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yep.
We don't want to see it dim away. So you can go on GentlemanOutlaw.com. You can find anything we have available. We will never put anything on there that we wouldn't have in our own homes.
Yep. Building a community, a new community, a new kind of community.
Or maybe an old kind.
Yeah.
We don't need to reinvent the wheel. There used to be a good community.
Except in my grandfather's day, they didn't have this.
Yeah. Yeah, we can build communities with people over in England.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
We can come together.
That's true.
It could be in California. Doubtful. Possible.
Is there any good in California?
Northern parts. But
sorry, that was one of those slams.
Yeah. But give proof why we're wrong about California.
Yeah.
Yeah, the weather's wonderful. Anything else?
Well, I would say even the founding fathers did not agree on everything.
No, they didn't. Though they definitely did. Not.
They fought it and fought it and fought it. There was things it was huge. There were battles that raged, but they had conversation.
Yep. And
often they were in writing. They would write out, because if you write out your thoughts, then you know what you're thinking.
Writing, not typing.
Yeah, it's true. And they would write these letters, and that's the beauty of the documents that people like David Barton have, is they've got those arguments, those conversations that went back and forth between brilliant men that all had the same goal in mind. Mm-hmm. They wanted liberty. They wanted to escape the tyrannical government of the king. But they had very, very different ideas on how that should be done. And to see how that played out in ways of disagreement.
Yep.
To end up with with a nation that we have today.
Hi, I just wanted to stop and personally thank you for coming by and listening to this podcast. We all know the last thing this world needs is another podcast of people doing all the same things. So we take great pride in the fact that you would stop and listen. We also would really like you to comment and put your information on what you want to hear. This is supposed to be about you, not about us. And if you wanted to support us, stop by our website and check out our affiliates and some of the products that we carry. You can also find us on other social medias. I just wanted to take this time to wrap up this video and say thank you for giving us your time, because we know it is very valuable. We appreciate you. Thank you.